Hey, what's going on, guys? It is your boy Jordan, and today I'm going to be talking about Scream 5, aka Scream 2022. I saw this movie on the 13th and a second time on the 15th, so I definitely have a lot of thoughts about it. And man, this has been a movie that I've been anticipating for a while, probably around 2 years or whenever it was first announced. I'm a huge fan of this entire series, so again, definitely excited to talk about it today, and I've been anticipating it for such a long time. And this is the first time I'm actually showing my face on this channel, so this is kind of like a face reveal, as I've never shown myself on the channel yet until now. But we're gonna get straight into the review right away. Again, this will be a spoiler review, so if you haven't seen the movie, obviously click away. And if you do enjoy content like this, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you do enjoy the video. But yeah, I got some notes here. My pros and my mixed, and the pros and the mixed aspects, as well as some cons. But I do want to start off first with my pros, of course. And my first pro is just the cast, dude. I know it's been kind of like divisive, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but some people didn't like the new cast. I enjoyed them. One of my favorites is Mindy, Randy's niece, and I enjoyed Chad. Liv, I thought, I don't know, she was just kind of there. She felt like kind of a red herring of the film, until of course she did get killed. But overall, the new cast and Sam, I really enjoyed Sam. I don't know why people have been hating on Melissa Barrera, I think that's her name, for her portrayal. They've been saying that she was a bad actor or whatever. I really enjoyed the character overall, especially in the final act. Her character was incredible, and of course Jenna Ortega was also incredible as Tara as well. She really killed that opening scene. Sorry if you hear something in the background. Mulder Brothers, probably, he's in there with his son. So what? Anyway, where I left off, the characters. Jack Quaid was great. The Meeks twins, Amber was good. I enjoyed her portrayal. The old cast did really well in this as well. Like that they didn't kind of shoehorn. Yo. Anyways, yeah, they did a really good job implementing the old, castmates, Dewey, Sydney, and Gail. I haven't been the biggest fan of Gail. Dewey and Sydney are my favorite characters, so I do really enjoy how they did implement them into it. They kind of allowed the new cast to shine, as obviously they will be the ones carrying on the mantle from here on out. And they definitely balanced that well, and they didn't just shoehorn the old cast. And my next positive, of course, is the opening. This is by far the second best opening we've gotten in the franchise. Nothing will ever top the first one, like ever. Like the first opening is just incredible and classic, and it was like lightning in a bottle. You can't top that ever. But this was very close. Well, not close to it, but it is obviously the second best without question. Tara survives. That's the first time we've gotten that. Is opening, not even an opening kill, it's just an opening attack. And dude, Ghostface was real brutal during that attack too. He was really messing her up. Surprised she didn't die, but they shot it as if she kind of did die. But then again, we all knew she wasn't because of the trailers. And I really do like that aspect that she survived. And they also do this thing that they did in the TV show where Ghostface, he had like a different voice starting off, and then he kind of like went to the more dark, malicious Ghostface voice that we all know and love, gradually as they talked. And I love, dude, how they kind of mirrored the first film, and they kind of did play it safe, but they did it so brilliantly, like in the way that especially this opening scene is done, because they allow Ghostface to shine, allows Roger L. Jackson to kind of, talk and play with Tara a little bit. And just, if you think about it, dude, like in the first movie, the trick question with the Friday the 13th, like in how Casey got it wrong because it was Mrs. Voorhees, they kind of mirror that, but with the Stab franchise, and I just love that so much because he's like, who was the killer in the original Stab? And she says Billy Loomis, and he's like, nope, I'm afraid that's the wrong answer, and it was Billy and Stu, and I really love how they did that, and that was it, just incredible. So that whole opening scene was just gold to me. And then my next positive is gonna be Ghostface. Now people have kind of been going overboard on how good Ghostface was in this movie. He was good, don't get me wrong, he was great. But you get people saying, "Oh my God, Ghostface, he's just the most brutal he's ever been." Sure, he's more consistently brutal and just is very vicious with his attacks in this one. But honestly, he's right up there in this one with Scream 4's Ghostface. It's really not too much new, which isn't a negative, but I just been seeing so many people just overhype it. Like in early reviews, we heard that he, has some kills without the knife, which I'm still like shocked they didn't do that. Like that's something that the TV show got really well. They kind of switched up the kills a little bit and made them even more interesting. They didn't do that with this one, but at the end of the day, Scream has always been more story oriented. Story focused in general, so that was fine to me. He is more brutal, but honestly not much more than Scream 4's. That Olivia kill still has yet to be topped in terms of brutality from Ghostface. So Ghostface is definitely a positive in this movie, regardless, but I just think people have been overhyping it a little bit too much. And then my next positive, which, dude, Dewey's death, dude. I'm glad they had the balls to kill one of them off. I kind of wish it was Gale. I would have much rather had it been Gale than Dewey, and had Dewey and Sydney survive, because those two are just top two characters in the franchise. Gale, I've never been the biggest fan of her. She is an OG, but she's not one of my favorite characters. She never has been. But regardless, even though I feel like Dewey's death would and it is like the best way they could have gone, like story wise, I don't know, I just feel like Gale's wouldn't have been as impactful. And I don't know, I still agree with them killing him off as much as I love the character. His death was definitely overdue. He was supposed to die a few times. Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson were going to kill him off a few times, but they never did. But he definitely had, besides Jack Quaid's character, he had the most brutal death in the film. It was shot beautifully. Amber killed him, even though, there's a lot of people that are saying like that's super unrealistic that he got lifted off the ground. But looking back on it, because I did like go on like one of those sites where you can see the movie on like cam footage or whatever, and I looked back at it. It doesn't seem like she lifted him. It seems like his feet just kind of like got in that position, and he was just kind of hunched back. So it was still believable to me because Dewey was kind of whooping Amber's ass, and then Amber just got the drop on him, caught him off guard. So I do really like how they did that. They made Amber, like when Amber's behind the mask, they kind of made it believable, because I believe she was the Ghostface that usually, like when she stabbed, she kind of like used her other hand for like pressure, added pressure. So I did like that element. They tried to make it as realistic as possible. So I did enjoy that. But yeah, overall, Ghostface was a huge positive, and they did something they never have with him, making him turn on the voice changer, and you actually get to see Ghostface on the phone for once in the series, and that's a first. So I did enjoy that, and this movie does bring a lot of new interesting elements to the series that has never been done before, and I really did enjoy that. And also, there's been people that, or before the film came out, there were people saying that it wasn't going to be as meta, and I'm glad that was wrong, because it's super meta. This is probably the most meta Scream in the entire franchise, if we really want to be honest with it. Just so many different things, like the whole Mindy speech, that was done beautifully. I enjoyed that well. And what else was it? Dude, a theory that I had actually came true, where I was like, they have to reference the like kind of like reboot sequel trend, and they did. Stab 8 is just called Stab, and I was predicting, I was like, dude, the most meta thing that they're gonna do in this film is they're gonna call one of the Stab films just Stab, and I was betting money on that. Like, and they did, and I'm so glad they did. And paired with that, the Dead Meat cameo, kinda. If you know their channel, they made it into the movie, which was real dope to see. Um, Especially since I had thought that they could do something like that. It's like so many things that I thought could happen in this film actually did happen, and it was incredible to see on screen. Like, I was like, dude, what if they show like one of the characters watching YouTube, like from like one of the the bigger YouTubers, and they did that. And shout out to them, because dude, that was dope. And with that, we got confirmation that Kirby was alive, and that's another positive, because I really am so glad that they that they brung her back. Obviously, it was just a little cameo. You blink, you would have missed it. It was kind of on the side of the YouTube page. It says Survivor Kirby Reed, interview with Survivor Kirby Reed, and I really enjoyed that. I didn't see it on first watch, but then I heard about it in a review, and then on second watch, I was like, yo, that's dope. And if you didn't know, there's also another thumbnail, that video on the side that says, like, is the real Stumacher alive? Let's talk about that. I feel like this film was the very last chance they had to bring Stu back. And even now, it would have been ridiculous. It would have even been ridiculous if they brought him back in Scream 3, and that was only 3 years after the first movie. And as much as it would have been pushing it if they brought him back, I feel like this movie was the absolute last time they had to actually bring him back without it being just completely ridiculous. So as much as I love Stu, and spoiler for my killer ranking, he is my favorite Ghostface. But dude, like, unfortunately, I don't think they can bring him back at this point. Just keep him dead, because they didn't mention him in any of the other films, and it would have just felt forced, personally. But they did have Matthew Lillard's voice. When Amber like comes in the house, he says, "Great party," or "Great house, Freeman." So that was pretty dope. I didn't notice that on either of the watches, and I think Jamie Kennedy had like a voice cameo, but I don't remember. But yeah, the next positive is that the third act, I really enjoyed it. And Stu's house, as safe as this movie plays it, I feel like they can kind of get away with that. Some people have been talking about how they play it so safe, and it really does mirror the original. I think they do it brilliantly. Especially, it wouldn't have worked if we didn't know we were getting a Scream 6. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but I just know we're getting a Scream 6. There's no way they bought the rights just to make one movie and just be done with it. And to market this movie as incredibly as they have been marketing it, it's killing it at the box office. So I expect to hear confirmation of Scream 6 very soon. But yeah, the third act, I really do enjoy it. The killer reveals, even though, you know what, I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit and go into one of my mixed aspects. My positive was that the killer reveals, I did enjoy them, but also go hand in hand with that, I felt like one of the killers, for the first time in a series since Billy, one of the killers was just, well, Mickey was kind of predictable as well. But for once in the series, I was able to predict Amber was one of the killers immediately. Like, during the bar scene, I was like, dude, she's one of the killers. She has to be one of the killers. Just the way she was talking, and she was like, Sam left when Tara was 13, and like basically expressing how much she hated Tara. I was like, dude, hated Sam. I was like, dude, she's one of the killers. And with that, Jack Quaid, he was super surprising. As much, even though I predicted him in my killer prediction video for Scream 5 that I made it was 2 videos ago. But as much as I predicted him, I predicted him and Liv, I still thought he was not going to be the killer. He seemed more like the Derek type. So it was really shocking when he just came up right next to Sam and was like, "Thank God you're okay." And just, I was like, what the fuck? Like that, but it was dope. And people said they predicted him right away, but I didn't, dude. Right up to the very moment. I don't know if that makes me stupid or what, but I did not see that shit coming at all. And Amber seems kind of like a female version of Stu, and I don't know, she's not, I wouldn't say, just because there's so many killers, and I do often include the TV series in my killer rankings as well as like my rankings for the movies, as I am a huge defender of the TV show. But she's probably one of my favorite killers, honestly. Mikey Madison, she's very beautiful as well. She is a great actress. She really pulled off her role. And one thing that I just learned is that Jack Quaid and Mikey Madison, they actually knew they were killers the entire time, which I don't know. There's something about that that's I enjoy about it, because in some of the films it feels a little off, because you know that some of them didn't know that they were going to be the killers because of script leaks and stuff like that. So I thought that was a pretty nice touch. So when they flipped that switch, it was more natural, and you definitely do feel that, especially on second watch. So yeah, I do enjoy those killer reveals. Even though I did predict Ember, her just pulling out the gun and killing Liv was pretty shocking. Not gonna lie. But that's it for the positives. I really love this movie. I do have like a mixed aspect. I actually had two, but I already mentioned it, and that was that Amber was too predictable. But another mixed aspect is the de-aging of Skeet Ulrich. First time around, I was like, dude, that is terrible. But thank God I watched it a second time. Otherwise, I would have a completely different opinion on it, and it would be a negative. But it's actually grown on me a little bit. I don't think that de-aging is that bad. Just because you can really tell it's a de-aging doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. It's just bad when you compare it to how he actually looked back in 1996, because it is sort of jarring, especially if you're a huge fan of you and you've seen these movies for as many times as I've seen them. So it's a missed aspect. I almost would have rather them did like some sort of voiceover where she's just imagining hearing Billy. But honestly, it's fine. Who can complain with seeing Billy again? It really was incredible regardless. Also, I have one con. Yes, one con. I really did enjoy this movie. I'm not gonna spoil where it's going in my ranking, but you could probably predict where it will go. Regardless, the only con I have is there being only two killers. I know I just praised the film for the killer reveals, which I do enjoy. Again, it plays it very safe, which isn't a con in my book, as I'm sure they'll explore different territories in the next film. Maybe they'll just have one killer again, which I really do want, or they'll have three killers. I just hope they don't do two killers in the next movie. But the fact that both of them died again, going back to that, me defending the TV show, one of the things that they did in the TV show was season 2 was keep one of the killers alive, and I really do think they should have done that. They maybe should have kept Amber alive. And she does get points for killing Dewey, because that's a huge feat. He's never died. So she is probably one of the more vicious and awesome Ghostfaces, as she did actually get to kill Dewey. But yeah, they should either kept her or Richie alive, just like in the TV series. Even though in the TV series the killer did die the very next episode, like it would have been fun. It would have been cool. It would have been something different. But outside of that, I don't really have too much negative to say about the film. Besides that, and my mixed opinion about the Billy thing, this movie was really good. It did play it real safe. It mirrored the original quite a bit, which some might say is bad. Oh yeah, and the killer motives. I enjoyed the killer motives a lot, actually. And there's some people be like, oh, the motive is stupid. Not really, dude. Like, if you really look at it, all of the motives are really fucking dumb. It's just that all these people at the end of the day are just psychopaths. Like, they all have shitty motives. Even Roman and Mrs. Loomis, who I think have probably the most the most sane motives. Even that's kind of like, okay, that's stupid. So I give that a little slack. Just the toxic fandom, the talk on that was real true, dude. Especially for me. I watch a lot of reviews. I watch, in the horror community, at least the slasher side of it, and I see a lot of that. There's like a lot of toxic fans, so I really did enjoy that, and I don't think it was stupid at all. It was a good motive. I didn't see it coming, and I was expecting something a little more, but regardless, I enjoyed it. And overall, my thoughts on this film is that it's a great, worthy Scream sequel, and they did really well without for it being the first movie since Wes Craven has passed. They really did do a good job. The directors are big fans of Wes Craven, so they put a lot of fan service in this, and man, I think they did a brilliant job, and I hope they return for Scream 6 as well, because I'm really excited to see what they do next. And of course, I will be making prediction videos on Scream 6 and more content on Scream in the coming weeks. But yeah, that was just my thoughts on Scream 5. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm gonna give this a 9.5 out of 10. Yeah, it was really that good. It's right up there with Scream 4. Scream, like, the thing about this series is, like, it's very consistent. There's not a bad movie, not even Scream 3, even though I would put Scream 2 above it. I enjoy Scream 3 more than Scream 2. I'd rather watch it 9 times out of 10 than Scream 2. But yeah, this film was great. 9.5. If you did enjoy this video, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm sorry if this felt a little off. This is my first time being on camera. So, I'll improve further down the line, but this is my first time doing this. But let me know what your thoughts on the film is. If you enjoyed it, if you hated it, do you agree with me? And of course, again, if you are new, do not forget to subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks.